Hi everybody, welcome back to Mando Lessons. In this lesson I'm going to do a quick comparison between this, which is a $50 mandolin that you can find regularly online for $50 or less. I'm going to compare it to a $350 mandolin and a $4,500 mandolin. I'm going to go over sort of the sound differences, the build differences, things like that, and just sort of give you my thoughts on these instruments. Right off the bat, I want to say that I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. I'm not getting paid to talk about these instruments, or these instruments were not given to me for free. I bought them all with my own money. Also, this is by no means a scientific test. They're very similar looking mandolins in a lot of ways. They're all A-style F-hole mandolins, but the strings that are on them are slightly different ages and different brands. The setups are slightly different, which I'll talk about a little bit. And in general, I'm just using the mic that I always use when I record my main mandolin, which is the Ellis, the most expensive one. And I've just got it set where I have the Ellis so I can talk about volume differences, things like that, with the lower cost instruments. So that being said, let's jump into it. I'll talk about this mandolin first. So this is the Rogue RM100A. I believe it's the A, but it's RM100 anyway. Yeah, 100A. It's easily found online for $50 or less. You can find it often with discount codes. So I got this mandolin for, it ended up being like, I think a little under $40, which is an amazing deal for a mandolin. What happened though was the first one of these that I bought from the company, from the website that I bought it from, came and the top was totally sunken in, and it really was not in any condition to play, so I had to send it back. It took a couple weeks to sort of get the return all settled through and then to order another one. When I got it, I needed to do a little bit of setup work, which I talk about in some videos in the technique and fundamentals section of my website. I needed to move the bridge a little bit. I needed to adjust the bridge height to the best of my ability, and when adjusting the bridge, I found that one of the bridge poles that adjusts the bridge up and down was actually sort of a little faulty, and I can't actually lower the bridge any more than where it's set right now. So you might run into some problems if you order this $50 mandolin. You might get one that's totally playable, but you might not. Just sort of as a warning there, I ran through one mandolin that was totally unplayable. This one needed a little bit of setup, moving the bridge, adjusting the height. The nut height is pretty good on this one. I think it could be trued up a little bit. Another issue that I found is the bridge, the way that the bridge is curved on the bottom and hits the top and how flush it is with the top. It's not particularly flush, so there's a fair amount of space underneath the bridge, which is going to affect the sound of the instrument. So you can't, which would require more skills and time than I'm willing to put into this instrument, a $50 instrument. You could bring it somewhere and have them seat the bridge a little better to the top, but that's going to cost you. You might run $50, $100, $150, depending on where you bring it to get this mandolin really trued up and in a place where it might be in the similar condition that the other mandolins that I'll be showing you are set up to. So I'll play a little bit of this mandolin. Again, with the features of this mandolin, I'm gonna pull up I don't know that this mandolin has I don't think it's a solid topped instrument. I think it's probably plywood all around. I'm just gonna read a little bit here real quick. Yeah, I'm not seeing, it says maple neck, rosewood fingerboard, rosewood bridge, but it's not saying anything about the it's not saying anything about the wood itself, so I'm going to assume that means it's plywood. And the way that the top had caved in on the last one makes me think that this mandolin was not solid woods. That said, for $50, it's kind of hard to beat if you can get one that plays well. I'll play a little bit of it and then compare it to the others. have it, the Rogue RM100. Now, the mandolin that I've been suggesting students buy for years, and that I suggest on my website, and I've seen a lot of these come through, this is the Kentucky KM150. Now, I bought this instrument from a shop that is well known for doing good setups. I talk about it more on my website if you want more information about specific shops to buy it from. I know this store has a great reputation for sending out instruments that are well set up. This is an all-solid instrument. Solid spruce top, maple back and sides, solid. It's just sort of, in general, a step above the Rogue. Yes, the Rogue. I get my names mixed up. So this mandolin often goes, you can get it from the company I bought. I have had students buy them from for $350. And every one that I've seen that's come through, I'm not saying that it's going to be every time, but I've never had one come from the website without a great setup. So this mandolin, I actually got this one used on Craigslist for I think $150, but it's almost identical to the mandolins that I've seen come straight from the internet. I'll play a little bit of this one. So this one really, it came in, set up great, didn't need anything, pulled it out of the box, tuned it up, ready to go. Didn't need to adjust the bridge height or bridge placement. The nut was fine, ready to go. No caving in top or things like that. Just a quality mandolin that's ready to get played. So here's a little bit of this one, the Kentucky KM150. So it's a little more focused sound, which I personally am a fan of. Again, a lot of this sound is subjective. It's a little louder. I think the bass has a lot kind of more focused and rich sound. That also might have to do with the bridge on this one being nice and flush to the instrument versus the Rogue, which was the bridge could really use some work to get it really trued right up where I'd want it. Again, all solid woods. I really love these mandolins. Again, no sponsorships or anything, but that's what I recommend and have recommended and continue to recommend to my students. Alright, so now we have this mandolin, which I've had for about 10 years. This is an Ellis. And this is not a cheap mandolin. I think this cost $4,500 when I bought it about 10 years ago. But as a professional musician for that time, I think I've really kind of got my money's worth out of it, in my opinion. I've played this mandolin for thousands and thousands of hours on tons of recording projects, and it's really treated me well over the year. The customer service with Tom in his shop, Ellis Instruments, is down in Austin, Texas. The interactions with Tom I've had have been totally great. This one, likewise similar. Spruce top, maple back and sides. This has got some nice figure to the back and neck and sides. Just a beautifully built mandolin, really professional all around. I have nothing bad to say about this mandolin, really. It's a mandolin that I'll have for the rest of my life as long as I'm concerned. Play it a little bit for you. again, not a scientific sound test by any means. I've just got a mic set up how I always record this instrument. I would say this is the loudest instrument of the bunch. The sound that I like the best, followed by the Kentucky, which is the next loudest, and sort of number 2 in sound quality. And the Rogue, number 3, needed some setup work. Needed some setup work that was beyond my capabilities and beyond, I think, the average player's capabilities in terms of getting it really trued up to where it should be to play and sound its best. But again, the Rogue's only $50, Kentucky's $350, and this is a multi-$1,000 instrument. So obviously there's going to be some differences. But ultimately, I think in terms of buying a mandolin, if you can get to a shop that's gonna be a place that you can play a bunch of different instruments, really get your hands on them and see what sounds and feels best to you, that's gonna be, I think, the best thing you can do in terms of finding an instrument. What I recommend is if you have a budget going in, play everything underneath that budget. So if you have a $500 budget or a $1,000 budget, go in and don't just play the instruments that are at the top end of your budget. So if you have a $1,000 budget, don't play only instruments from $800 to $1,000. Play instruments all the way from the cheapest one they have all the way up through $1,000, and you might find that a $400 or a $600 mandolin is going to sound and feel best to you compared to a $1,000 instrument. A lot of this is personal taste, how the instrument itself is set up, the individual characteristics of every mandolin that can change even between, if I had 3 Ellis A-style mandolins right next to me, I could play them all and they're all going to be a little bit different. Same goes for the Kentucky, same goes for the Rogue. So that's my little talk on, finding an instrument and comparing these 3. I'll continue to suggest the Kentucky to people. I bought that Rogue because a lot of people asked me about it, and I've played them in the past, but I really wanted to see what the experience was like buying it from the website that everybody gets them from. And I did run into some problems. I had to send the first one back. It took a couple weeks. The second one came in, and the top isn't caved in, but it still needs more work than I want to dump into a $50 mandolin, and more work than I'm able to do myself. But the Kentuckys that I've always seen, coming from well-established shops, have always come through sounding great, just ready to play right out of the box. All you got to do is tune it up. And of course, with a multi-$1,000 instrument like this, it's going to be the same idea. It's going to be set up, just perfect playing condition, or should be anyway. And if it's not, you can send it back to the person that built it, and they'll get it right lined up for you in most cases. So thanks for watching. Check out mandolessons.com for more videos, more lessons, a lot more music lessons compared to lessons where I just sit here and talk. But thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.